Adele's Rolling in the Deep has this really strange note in the background vocals. The tune is in C minor, so you might expect the melody to go G, A flat, G, since those are notes in the key. But instead on the phrase, "You're gonna wish you," it goes G, A natural, G. You're gonna wish you. That's kind of strange, right? And I've never noticed this before. I took this TikTok by Rebecca McCartney pointing this out for me to even hear that A natural. I have so many questions here. The first is, what is this A natural doing here? And two, is this like some kind of musical Mandela effect? Like, you would think that the YouTube music theory guy would notice the spicy note in a pop song, and yet I never did. Why? Let's get into it. This video is brought to you by CuriosityStream and to my streaming service, Nebula.
There's a single note in the backing vocals to Rolling in the Deep that sounds terribly off to me, and I can never unhear it.
So Rolling in the Deep is in the key of C minor, which is a key that has 3 flats: B flat, E flat, and A flat. That's what we expect because we're so used to minor key harmony. We expect to hear A flat in the key of C minor. The verse of Rolling in the Deep is noteworthy because there is no A flat anywhere in the instrumentation or in the vocal melody. The first time that we hear the note A flat in the entire song occurs on the pre-chorus, in the bass part no less. It really feels like an event, a development of the story of Adele's heartbreak that's expressed through A flat. When the chorus hits, the chords are C minor, the 1 minor chord, B flat, the flat 7/7 chord, and A flat major 7, the flat 6 major 7. This is pretty bread and butter minor key harmony. It's good stuff. And so because this is such typical minor key harmony, and we introduce the A flat in such a dramatic fashion at the beginning of the pre-chorus, we would expect the melodies to follow suit and also include A flat, because A flat is part of C minor. This is kind of what we get the second, third, and fourth lines of the chorus. We get G, A flat, G in the background vocals. But the first time that we hear it, at the very beginning of the chorus, it's not G, A flat, G, it's G, A, G. So the first question is this A natural a mistake that was left in the recording? Probably not. Adele's background singers sing the A natural live when she performs the song. Pro tip, Adele, make sure the background vocals and the instruments are in the same key. Other live versions of the song with professional backup singers also sing A natural. So it's clearly meant to be there, but it does sound odd.
Has anyone who worked on Rolling in the Deep said why the backing vocals keep hitting the A natural instead of the diatonic A flat? It's such a prominent note that it feels like a purposeful thing, but my brain isn't big enough to understand its function in the song's harmony.
So music theory textbooks would probably say that this is an example of modal mixture or modal interchange. You're taking notes from a parallel parent scale, like maybe C major or C Dorian, and then sprinkling them into the minor key as like color. Jazz musicians might say that the natural 6 is what you want to have on a tonic 1 minor chord. It just sounds more resolved, or at least it does in jazz music. The natural 6 is also an important part of blues melody and blues harmony. The natural 6 creates a tritone against the flat 3 of the key, and that's an important harmonic and melodic signature of blues music. You can kind of hear that effect in the bridge when Adele sings an E flat while the background vocals sing an A natural. Adele calls Rolling in the Deep a dark bluesy gospel disco tune, which I think is honestly pretty apt. Another analysis went as far as to say that the A natural is a truly awesome blue note sound. But I really highly doubt that any of these theoretical justifications came to mind when Adele and her co-songwriter and producer Paul Epworth were writing this background line. It probably was just something that they enjoyed the sound of. They could have discovered this as like a happy accident with autotune overcorrecting, or it's entirely possible that they just heard A natural, thought it sounded cool, and kept it in the final recording. Honestly, I think it's that. It highlights the background vocal in a pretty unique way because A natural is not from the key of C minor.
Thanks, now I'll never stop hearing this. She yassified the scale.
But, okay, none of this so far explains why I was mishearing this note. The entire time, for the past 10 years, I've been hearing not A natural, but I've been hearing A flat. Like, I've never noticed this before. And I'm not the only person to not notice this. When people cover a song like Rolling in the Deep, what they're doing is showing how they interpret the music. And most people interpret it G, A flat, G. karaoke tracks that I could find also flatten this line to G, A flat, G. Why is this? Why did we collectively agree that it was G, A flat, G, even though the recording is not that at all? And Adele's background singers don't sing it that way live. Well, I have a couple theories as to why. The first is kind of an obvious one. The following 3 lines after You're Gonna Wish You follow the more correct or more expected melody of G, A flat, G. 5, flat 6, 5. Because we're hearing the version of this melody that confirms our expectations more frequently, and the melody is in the background, I think it's just easier for our brains to retroactively hear the melody differently. In other words, repetition changes your perception based on prior expectations. The background vocals are sung in a gospel style, both on the recording and in live contexts. Gospel singers usually sing with a full, bright tone and a wide vibrato or an oscillation of a pitch around a tonal center. Because vibrato is literally a pitch changing up and down, it might be harder to tell what a note is, quote, supposed to be, and your ear will fill in what you expect, like the note A flat. If the background vocals were sung with a straight tone, You're gonna wish you, the A natural probably would have been more noticeable on the recording of Rolling in the Deep, but because it was sung with a juicy vibrato, that spiciness was smoothed out. But seriously, Aretha Franklin, amazing. But I think another reason why my ear corrects G, A, G to G, A flat, G is because I've heard that 5, flat 6, 5 in many other songs before that express forlornness or grief. Like for example, So in Love by Cole Porter. Strange dear, but true dear. Or the opening phrase to Once Upon a December from Anastasia. Dancing bears. Or Insensate by Tom Jobim. Which itself is based on Chopin's Prelude No. 4 in E minor. Derek Cook, in his book The Language of Music, describes the minor sixth in a minor key as an acute dissonance. It engenders a feeling of painful dissatisfaction, a feeling of anguish, in fact. He then goes on to cite many examples of 5, flat 6, 5 in European music going back to 1420, noting that this is the most widely used of all terms of musical language. One can hardly find a page of grief music by any tonal composer of any period without encountering it several times. Rolling in the Deep is a minor key breakup song. Adele is a tonal composer or songwriter, and the song is about grief. We've had over 500 years of European musical history telling us that 5, flat 6, 5 is what we expect to hear in music about grief in minor keys. And yet for whatever reason on that phrase, You're Gonna Wish You, it is not 5, flat 6, 5, it is 5, 6, 5. This is some categorical perception stuff. The musical language affects how you hear the music. Like if you are a native speaker of certain languages, your perception of color might be altered by the fact that you have words for colors that other languages don't, and vice versa. We got a word in this musical language that seems to make sense in this grief context, 5, flat 6, 5, ooh. And then a word which doesn't seem to make as much sense in this context, 5, 6, 5. It is a word in the blues vocabulary, but I guess I just really wasn't expecting it in this tune. Which means that unless we're primed to notice it, our brains filter out the interpretation, G-A-G, that doesn't make sense with the history. This is why I think we have this Mandela effect thing happening, or at least for me. This is really just conjecture on why I and all of these other people didn't hear the melody correctly, but it's the explanation that seems to make the most sense to me. This has some deeper implications if you think about it. Like if I was trying to learn a musical style that I wasn't particularly studied in or wasn't familiar with entirely by ear, I might hear it wrong. I might assign what I hear to the wrong pitch or the wrong rhythm on my instrument, purely because I'm coming to the music with expectations of something else. This is, I think, exactly what happened with me and Rolling in the Deep. My brain expected minor key grief melodies, and yet that's not what the melody is. This is why music isn't really a universal language, because while there might be some universals to how we process sounds, there's a history and a vocabulary that go alongside those sounds that govern how we hear them and how we relate to them. The language, the history, the vocabulary of all the music that you've ever heard affects the way that you hear music. Think of all the music you've ever heard and think about all the details that you have missed because your brain filtered out things that it didn't know how to interpret. Like again, I've heard Rolling in the Deep so much in the past 10 years, and yet it took Rebecca McCartney's TikTok pointing it out for me to even notice that the background vocals were all spicy and stuff. It's wild, like musical vocabulary is so important to music and musical perception. And this simple phrase, 5, flat 6, 5, is just a subset of the minor scale and an important one. I think about like how some people have tried to own the minor scale, owning a piece of our shared musical language. That's kind of what the infamous Katy Perry versus Flame lawsuit was about, ownership of the minor scale. Very fortunately, recently we learned that that decision was thrown out. Sanity prevails. The Ninth Circuit's opinion is very interesting. It's all about ownership of vocabulary. Can you own this piece of the musical language?
Becker said was relatively simple, is enough to create an original combination. I would respectfully submit under Satava, it is nothing more than trivial at best.
Woo! Preach! It is nothing more than trivial. I agree. Thank you. I talk a lot about this in a bonus video that I have over on my streaming service, Nebula, the streaming service run and owned by creators. I have all of my videos up there as well as an ever-growing catalog of bonus videos. We got a lot of music creators on there like Charles Cornell, Mary Spender, 12 Tone, Polyphonic, and many more. Nebula and this video in particular were sponsored by CuriosityStream, the go-to source on the internet for the very best documentaries with thousands of titles to choose from, including Genius Within, The Inner Life of Glenn Gould. Fantastic documentary all about the idiosyncratic pianist and his approach. If you're interested in CuriosityStream and the bonus content over at Nebula, you can go to curiositystream.com/Adam Neely. And for a limited time, you can get both streaming services for 26% off or $14.79 a year. I made this playlist of other videos of mine covering some other nerdy music theory topics. You can go check it out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.